He said it with a smile, but make no mistake, that was not a joke. Carlos Alcaraz just told Alexander Zverev to prepare to suffer, to grind, to sweat through every single rally if he wants even a chance of walking into the Australian Open final. And when the world number one sends a message like that before a semifinal, you don't ignore it. You lean in, because something big is coming. This isn't just another semifinal. This feels like a turning point match, the kind that shapes seasons, rivalries, maybe even legacies. On one side, you have Alcaraz, still just 22, already playing like a veteran champion with the hunger of a teenager who still believes every tournament is his first chance to prove something. On the other side stands Alexander Zverev, battle-tested, powerful, and desperate to finally grab the kind of defining slam moment people have predicted for him for years. Alcaraz has been calm all tournament, almost too calm. Straight sets, clean performances, very little drama. Adam Walton never really got a foothold. Yannick Hampman tried to bring physicality, but got outpaced. Corentin Moutet brought variety and flair, but Alcaraz shut down the angles like a chess master closing lanes. Tommy Paul tested him with pace and court coverage, and still Alcaraz looked like he had another gear he never needed to touch. Then came Alex de Minaur, the home favorite, the speedster, the guy who usually turns matches into cardio tests. For a few games, the energy felt dangerous. The crowd was loud. The Minaur was flying, and yet once Alcaraz found his rhythm, it was like a door slammed shut. 7-5, 6-2, 6-1. That scoreline doesn't just say control, it says authority. It says this is my tournament now, and everyone else is just visiting. But here's where it gets interesting, because Alcaraz himself admitted something that most players at this stage would never say out loud. He said his level at the US Open last year was higher than what he's showing right now in Melbourne. Higher. Let that sink in. He's in the Australian Open semifinal, barely dropping sets. And he's telling us he's not even at his absolute peak. That is either terrifying honesty or a warning disguised as humility. Because if this is him slightly below his best, what happens if he feels the pressure of a semifinal, smells a final, and suddenly unlocks that New York level again? Zverev might be walking into a storm that hasn't even formed yet. Still, this isn't a one-sided story, and that's what makes it so good. Zverev has been impressive, and Alcaraz made sure to say that clearly. He talked about Zverev's serve, how solid he's been, how aggressive he looks from the baseline. That's not polite press conference talk. That's scouting. That's respect. And in tennis, real respect usually means real danger. Their head-to-head is dead even. 12 matches, 6 wins each. That alone tells you this is not a comfortable matchup for either man. There's history here, layers, adjustments, scars from past battles. The last time they met was in Cincinnati, and Alcaraz handled him in straight sets, 6-4, 6-3. Clean, sharp, efficient. But hard courts in Melbourne under slam pressure, with a final on the line, that's a different emotional weight. Zverev has been chasing this kind of stage for years. He's had deep runs before, he's been close, painfully close at times, and every near miss adds fuel. He knows people still question whether he can go all the way at a slam. He hears it. Players always do. And now he stands one win away from another final, against the most electric player of the new generation. But Alcaraz isn't just electric. He's strategic. That comment about sweating wasn't random. It tells you exactly what he plans to do. Long rallies, heavy topspin, drop shots to drag Zverev forward, sudden pace changes. He wants to turn this match into a physical exam and a mental one at the same time. Zverev likes rhythm. He likes setting his feet, unloading off both wings, especially that backhand. But when Alcaraz starts mixing height, spin, and angles, rhythm becomes hard to find. And when rallies stretch past 10, 15 shots, it's not just about technique anymore. It's lungs, legs, and belief. There's also a psychological layer that people aren't talking about enough. Alcaraz is chasing history. A win here pushes him into his first Australian Open final and keeps alive a path toward becoming the youngest man ever to complete the career Grand Slam. That's not a small stat. That's the kind of milestone that defines eras. And yet, he doesn't play like a guy carrying history on his back. He plays free, loose, smiling between points, joking in practice, then turning into a competitor with laser focused the moment the ball is in play. That emotional flexibility is rare, especially at his age. Zverev, on the other hand, plays with visible intensity. You see it in his eyes, in the way he bounces the ball, in the way he reacts to big points. When it's working, that fire lifts him. When it turns, it can trap him in his own thoughts. Against most players, he can still overpower the situation. Against Alcaraz, emotional swings can get punished fast. One short lapse, one frustrated service game, and suddenly Alcaraz is sprinting to a drop shot winner, pumping his fist, and the crowd is roaring. Momentum shifts quickly against him, and he knows it. What fascinates me most is that Alcaraz isn't pretending Zverev has weaknesses he doesn't have. He openly said Zverev is serving well and playing aggressive. That tells me Alcaraz expects to be under pressure on his own serve and in baseline exchanges. This won't be a match where he coasts. He's preparing for a fight, and that preparation shows maturity beyond his years. At the same time, saying he has to sweat a lot plants a seed. It subtly flips the narrative. Instead of Alcaraz defending his number one ranking, Zverev becomes the one who must survive a physical and mental trial. It's a clever shift. Now the question isn't can Alcaraz handle Zverev's power. It's can Zverev endure Alcaraz's intensity. Matches like this often come down to the first tight set. If Zverev serves lights out and steals it, pressure swings hard. But if Alcaraz drags him into long games early, forces break points, makes him play extra balls, that sweat starts showing not just on the shirt, but in the decision-making. And let's not forget, Alcaraz has already proven he can raise his level on the biggest stages. That U.S. Open run he mentioned, where he felt almost untouchable, is recent memory. Straight sets wins, fearless shot-making, total belief. If he taps into even 80% of that version, the semifinal could turn from competitive to commanding very quickly. But Zverev has weapons that can change matches in minutes. A hot serving streak, a flurry of backhand winners, quick holds that apply scoreboard pressure. If he can shorten points and stop Alcaraz from turning rallies into marathons, he flips the script. Suddenly it's Alcaraz who has the press, who has to go for a little more, who might miss by inches. That's the chess match inside the power game. Lengthen versus shorten. Spin versus flat. Variety versus rhythm. And hovering over all of it is belief. Alcaraz believes he belongs in every slam final. Zverev believes this could finally be his moment. Only one belief survives the night. What I love about this matchup is that it represents two different journeys colliding. Alcaraz is building something that already feels historic. Stacking titles, chasing records, redefining what young champion looks like. Zverev is trying to transform years of promise and near misses into a single breakthrough that changes how we talk about his career. And before they even step on court, Alcaraz has already drawn a line. If you want this, you're going to suffer for it. You're going to run, stretch, defend, attack, and still be asked for more. That's not arrogance. That's identity. So when they walk into Laver Arena under those lights, with the final just one match away, remember that this wasn't just hype talk. It was a preview. Alcaraz is planning a physical war. Zverev is bringing firepower. And somewhere between sweat and shot making, one of them is going to earn the right to play for the Australian Open title. Now I want to hear from you. Does Alcaraz's confidence give him the edge? Or is this the moment Zverev finally breaks through and flips their rivalry for good? For more deep tennis storytelling, match breakdowns, and the biggest moment from the tour, stay locked on TennisIQ.